Hello there, and welcome to another episode of WOK Talk. I'm Captain Canada, or you can call me Joseph if you prefer. Um, as I do on every episode of WOK Talk, I say a fact about either the walk or the walking with my feet walk for lost loved ones. Both are referred to as the walk for lost loved ones, but this one is WOK walk. Um, the fact about the walk right now is I got to change up my training style. Less squats, more running. Uh, but I am going to do a couple squats here. And as always, we are preparing to carry a pallet 50 miles to raise awareness for suicide prevention. And that's why I will be doing some squats with my walk for lost loved ones here. Um, yeah. So let's get ahead and do that, and then we will be continuing our reaction to Super Sweet Shirt Co. Aaron from Super Sweet Shirt Co., the channel on YouTube. His reaction to a Phoenix Jones documentary is quite entertaining, and hopefully I can add something to that. So without any further delay, let's get to these squats and get to the show. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alrighty. Let's get on with the show. Oh, shit. Misplaced the remote. Sorry. Okay.
Such as this incident in 2016 where he claimed to have knocked someone unconscious and left them on the street, opting to tweet at the police rather than call 911. Jones specified that he, quote, left the guy my card so that when he wakes up he can call me if he has a problem. When asked what he meant by his card, Jones explained it was a print of this glamour shot, along with the phone number of his attorney. More shocking still was this post to the r/bodycam subreddit.
Before it moves on to this next thing, he's basically saying that he knocked a perpetrator out. I'm not exactly sure what he's claiming they did. Or a carjacker, I believe. I missed the part when where they said what the guy actually did, but I'll assume that he actually did commit a crime. Phoenix Jones knocked this guy out and then left him with a picture of himself, like a glamour shot. And it's like that's interesting. Um, but this next part is always something I forget about in the Phoenix Jones story, but it's really not a high point.
It shows police responding to a former friend of Jones's who'd reported the hero came to his apartment, his knuckles wrapped for a fight, threatening his life.
I guess last night I hit on one of his girlfriends that he didn't like, and he started slandering me all over Facebook, and then he came here threatening me, said he was going to beat me and piss on my face, and then when she went downstairs to tell me to leave, he said if I didn't come out, he was going to kick the door in. He also said he was going to kill me, that I need to be dead. I have all these screenshots on.
Yeah, he texted him saying that he would
I have all on my phone.
find him
and kill me.
So
Something was clearly happening to Phoenix Jones, and
Yeah, that's you never want to hear that from somebody you consider to be a hero. People talk about other things in his career, like his big downfall, but I think that incident should be talked about more, where he's threatening someone's life. Um, That's just unacceptable behavior, you know? And I hope somehow he was able to make up for this. Um, he obviously owed this person more than an apology. Maybe an apology isn't the solution because obviously you wouldn't necessarily want to come in contact with somebody after they made threats like that to you. Um, but seriously, that's just unacceptable. Not just as a real life superhero, but as a human being that shares the world with other people. Like, yeah, somebody will hit on your girlfriend or your ex girlfriend or whatever happened there, and your ego will get offended. But that's not right. Like, just because you're an MMA fighter doesn't give you the right to just go beating the shit out of people whenever the fuck you feel about it, or threatening to beat the shit out of people.
Audience began to see the dark side of his impulsive personality. By February of
Something started to happen to Phoenix Jones. He was now threatening to piss on people's faces.
Yeah.
2019, Phoenix hadn't uploaded a patrol log.
I should have highlighted that. Good job for highlighting the really important part of the thing that I didn't highlight. Yeah, threatening to piss on someone's face.
To his YouTube channel in 3.5 years. So it wasn't a surprise when he formally announced his intention to take a break from crime fighting. But what was surprising were Jones's cynical reasons for the hiatus. I don't think people are mostly good, Phoenix wrote. I don't think I've met enough people I would get shot to save. I don't think people would get shot to save me. I was wrong. Maybe everything I've ever believed in was wrong. When asked to reflect on his career, interviewers were met with a Phoenix who was oddly defensive of his legacy and adamant about his distinction from other so-called real-life superheroes.
So how many crimes have any other superheroes other than me stopped in Washington State?
Well, you're the only one I think anybody's aware, so yeah.
Okay, so then you're asking me a question about superheroes.
Right.
These guys are going to a neighborhood they don't know, dressed in outfits that are not the same, that are...
Hold on 1 second. It is, we are 40 minutes into this one. It's only 11 minutes left, but it's 2 a.m. It's time for another beverage. I will be back in 30 seconds.
Oh, look at that professional production work. Be right back. Will it really be 30 seconds? Will it be edited to be 30 seconds? Let's wait in anticipation. Bum 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 what up do 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 ba 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 da ba ba da do 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 do.
I'm back.
Okay.
I'm back. Had to get a beverage. Oh, so we got a new viewer. Hold on 1 second.
Across the world, hundreds of individuals are patrolling the streets of...
Oh no, what happened? I think we're right about here. Let's see.
And the advertisements to save me. I was wrong.
Okay. If you're just joining, I see we got somebody just joining. We are watching the Phoenix Jones documentary. This is a documentary about a guy who was a real life superhero back in 2011. So strap in. We're towards the end of this. So, but we typically riff on ridiculous stuff on this channel. So if you like what you see, please hit that follow. But let's see what happens to Phoenix Jones. This is a guy who actually went and fought crime in Seattle. He had good intentions in the beginning. Things went south. Slowly started to spiral downhill, and that's kind of where we're at right now.
Maybe everything I've ever believed in was wrong. When asked to reflect on his career, interviewers were met with a Phoenix who was oddly defensive of his legacy and adamant about his distinction from other so-called real-life superheroes.
So how many crimes have any other superheroes other than me stopped in Washington State?
Well, you're the only one I think anybody's aware, so yeah.
Okay, so then you're asking me a question about superheroes.
Right.
These guys are going to a neighborhood they don't know, dressed in outfits that are not the same, that are not uniform,
Party
with
City
skills that are not good.
Like that guy.
I mean, handing out food to homeless people. I mean, you are a LARPer. You are a LARPer with a bag of...
And that's just it, is he always has to make it the guys who stop crimes or have incidences that they're actually recorded as having been a part of, and people who hand out food to the homeless people. It's not like both those people aren't putting on outfits and going out into the world and representing empathy out in the world. I see those two groups as being far more similar than they are different. Um, I'll just say that much because it repeated it. I didn't say anything the first time, but I should say something.
Food. I am a superhero.
Although Phoenix had always displayed a
Yeah, you hand out food, but I'm a superhero. And it's like, oh yeah, I could never imagine Superman feeding the hungry. Yeah, no. That Superman would never do that. He'd be like, fuck that. Where's somebody to put? Oh, starving kids. Fuck that. I want to punch somebody. He just flies away and leaves those kids there. It's like, yeah, that's Superman. Like, what the fuck, man? Like. But he has gone back on this, and he has actually handed out food. I think it was shown in this documentary. But just the fact that there's so many clips and quotes of him talking like this, it is very frustrating.
certain degree of bravado. His trademark altruism seemed to have been replaced with resentment and misanthropy.
I put people away. I'm a superhero.
No, but people didn't care who I was when I put on the cape. People cared who I was when I started handing out the chocolate bars. Ha ha ha. That's just a real life thing, chocolate bars and lighters. You need to offer people something. If you're just walking around punching people, who are you helping? Maybe you're helping somebody. Maybe you're defending somebody from having a crime perpetrated on them. But at the end of the day, neither the person you punched or the person who you saved got some sweets to bring home, huh? What if I just talk down on your shit, huh? I'd be like, you're not a real superhero. You don't even hand out any of the goods, Mo. I mean, PJ.
I'm the only real one. It's not a joke. It's not a game. We're not talking about the kind of superhero. I'm a real superhero.
Phoenix Jones was retiring with a questionable reputation, but his fans seemed content to remember him for the self-sacrifice of his early years, reassuring him that when he's ready to return, they'll be there to support him. But in January of 2020, shocking news broke that would forever change the public's perception of Phoenix Jones.
And this sucks. Okay, this kind of sucks because that was around when Phoenix Jones was a real superhero. If you're just joining, we started to talk about in the beginning of this. Around 2010, real superheroes became a thing because of the movie Kick-Ass, which is a movie. If you have never seen Kick-Ass, I highly suggest going and see Kick-Ass. It's a movie about.
It did not start with Kick-Ass, and I hate the movie Kick-Ass. I'll just say that much. I do love the beginning of the movie Kick-Ass, and it was a huge push. Like, the inspiration that you feel from the beginning of that movie is just shit on by the rest of that movie, in my opinion. I want to say that it wasn't Kick-Ass, but at the same time, I know for a fact that I personally was inspired by parts of that movie. And I know there are other people who have mentioned the comic is much better, and I'm interested in checking it out. But I was so disappointed by the movie. I never want to watch that sequel, and I'm kind of scared to read those comics because I was hurt. I was burned. But fair enough. If you want to say that was the beginning of the big surge of real life superheroes, you may very well be right. There are many people who are inspired by that, but I was inspired long ago by a movie done with a person known as Shaquille O'Neal, and that movie was Steel, and he was the real deal. Who do you really want running down the alley and come to save you? Hugh Jackman or Shaq? Come on, think about it.
A kid in high school who decides he's going to put on a costume and go fight crime and gets his ass kicked. Very realistic. Well, up until like a certain point, then it gets kind of off the rails. But Phoenix Jones was a real guy in Seattle who decided to do this. He put on a real suit. The suit was armor. It was a stab proof. It wasn't bulletproof. It was a stab proof armor. Guy had good intentions, walked around, looked for crime, was making a difference.
Phoenix Jones, you're a fucking asshole is what you are. You're not a fucking hero.
Oh.
You're a fucking...
Correction though, it was bulletproof. It wasn't just stab proof.
In case you're showing up very late, but in case you're confused to what you're seeing right now, villains started to pop up. Guys who would assume the role of villains, then go on YouTube and challenge Phoenix Jones, a guy who was actually going out and fighting crime, but you had people like this doing this kind of stuff. But definitely trolling a guy who was going through some hard times.
Fraud.
Okay, then maybe you should. Are you going to behave yourself? Tell me you're going to behave yourself. Sit. I'm going to behave myself. Are you going to behave yourself?
That's what I do.
Good. So you're going to behave yourself? Say you're going to behave yourself. Thank you. Have a good day.
During the months following Phoenix's...
Ooh, doesn't that just make everything in you just cringe right up listening to him be such a dick? Ooh. I'm sorry, that just really bugs me. Like, needing to get the specific wording from that guy and just repeating yourself over and over again. Like, that is just, doesn't matter what position you're in, whether you're a real life superhero or a cop or whatever. Like, you're just getting off on your own authority at that point. And it's like, I don't like that shit.
retirement, his social media remained active and would even occasionally feature something resembling a video log. Jones seemed reluctant to give up the superhero persona despite no longer donning the costume for regular patrols. But toward the end of the year came a sudden absence. The videos...
So I just want to fill you in on one more thing for the new viewer that just came in. You just saw one of his tweets. He was like, find Nicole, I forgot what her last name was. Find Nicole's killer. So one of the traumatic things that happened in this guy's life as a superhero was that he was fighting crime, and a woman that he was sticking up for was shot and murdered in front of him. So he couldn't get over it, which, I mean, not many of us could have, but he couldn't get over it. He never dropped it. It clearly was an element in his spiral downhill.
I don't mean to cut things off mid sentence, but we are almost out of time, and I wanted to add a little bit to that myself. Phoenix Jones was greatly affected by this incident, but he went on a real dark path for a while after this, and he even self-admittedly went into the homeless encampments and just tore them apart, just destroyed people's belongings, and terrorized people looking for what he thought was the culprit, who actually turned out to be who was actually the person who was targeted in the shooting, who didn't get shot, but they were basically aiming for this person. And so he basically was going to blame a potential victim for a crime that had been committed, and in his searches was just terrorizing the local homeless community. That doesn't get brought up very much, but that is another fact or another thing that was quoted from Phoenix Jones himself from the Superhero Complex. It's a podcast. I recommend people listen to it. And sorry, my stance was changing there. I was just doing some stretches there as I was watching this. So sorry if I was getting a little bit shaky there. Yeah. I do have a lot of sympathy for Phoenix and for the fact that he was going through a hard time in his life, and he was trying to put in the effort to be that symbol of justice, a real life superhero who solves crimes. But I'll just leave it at that. I appreciate his commitment, but I don't appreciate everything he's done. I'm Captain Canada, Joseph Arthur Roszell. I want to thank you for watching. I want to wish you all luck in the world. I love you, and I want you to know that suicide is never the answer. Peace out. for now.